Good morning. Thanks for watching Living Local. Today I'm excited because this is the first of many of our panel discussions. We have August with Carolina Trust Federal Credit Union, as we do every Friday. But this is a special one because this kicks off our panel discussions, which we're going to have every month at the last Friday of every month. And so today we're discussing all sorts of fun things. Easter is coming up, summer's coming up. We have a lot of summer trips planned. And, different real estate market things. So lots of cool topics today. Stick with us right here on Living Local.
Oh, there's something so real about living local, about the people and the places where we live. Just look at all the reasons why we call this home. And I'm living local. I'm living local 'cause it's where I love to be.
So today we are joined with some very special guests. August, who do we have today?
So first we've got Erica Davis, who is the sales manager at Guild Mortgage. And we've got Kelly Rowland, who is a mortgage loan officer at Carolina Trust.
Kelly, I know that you've been with Carolina Trust in a variety of positions for 6 years, and you are the HELOC specialist. So you do home equity lines and lines of credit, right?
Yes.
So we're excited to have you on today. We'll get to you in a little bit later. And Erica, you've been with Guild Mortgage for 9 years.
Correct. Been
And-
in the industry almost 20 now. So
Oh, wow.
long time.
Crazy. Well, we're excited to have you both on because I know this year everything has seemed to go crazy with,
for sure.
with the real estate market. So, but first, we just had the first day of spring last weekend. Really excited about that. Spring and summer are my favorite months of the year.
Especially living here at the beach. It gets warmer and everything, business-wise really starts to pick up, which is great for the area. And so I'm super excited.
They say people, I meet people that are like, I like to have the 4 seasons. I want Christmas Day to be snowing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. I really don't.
Right.
If it was summer year round, I'd be very, very happy.
Yeah.
That's me 100%.
Yeah, and I know Easter's coming up too.
Yeah.
I feel like I forget about Easter, do you ever do the family Easter portraits and stuff like that?
Not portraits.
No.
No.
No. Well, do you guys always have a tradition? Do you plan Easter egg hunts or whatever?
We do. Now, mine are getting to the age where we no longer do Easter egg hunts. But all my nieces, we certainly love watching them do it. But it's definitely a family get-together, same meal every single time. Of course, fried chicken and the stuffed eggs. So.
Well, you have to have that if you're local, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta have fried chicken,
Yes.
Now, how old are your kids?
They're getting ready to be 10 and 12.
10 and 12.
Yeah.
So past the Easter egg hunt thing. Though I feel like I could do Easter egg hunts forever.
Right, yeah, me
know.
too. I also have to say, I feel like I should still be finding eggs, which I guess my tradition, we always still do the Easter dresses every year. So my mom still is like, have you picked out your Easter dress yet?
Yes.
Well, not really, but I'm looking.
What about you, Kelly? Any traditions?
No, family get together.
Yeah.
For dinner, same kind of thing.
I want to make something more of Easter, and now that I have little ones, I feel like everything needs to be a picture.
Yeah.
But I just don't, it sneaks up on me.
Well,
I just
I agree.
can't get it together.
I think part of it might have to do with the fact that Easter's not one of those holidays that falls on the same date every year.
No.
And so until you start to kind of get close to that Easter time, it's like, I wonder when Easter is, and then you kind of search the calendar and you're like, oh my gosh,
it's
2
here.
weeks. Yeah.
Yes,
so
exactly.
I think that has something to do with it, or in my mind it does anyway.
Right. And with the warmer weather too, all the summer plans are coming up as well. Now I know August and Erica, you guys both went on trips.
Yeah,
recently,
so
right?
I have been extremely busy. So before I can even think about summer, I'm going through this wedding season, I guess as you would call it right now, to where I have a wedding or something for a wedding every other weekend. So this past weekend, I went to Nashville for a bachelorette party.
Did you fly to Nashville?
I did fly. So I drove to Charleston and then flew out of Charleston to Nashville. The airport's working in such a convenient, fashion. They've got everybody, even in line, they've got everyone socially distanced, and it was, a super convenient and super safe feeling process throughout the whole thing. So that was super nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then where did you go, Erica?
My husband and I went to Mexico, and it was the first time we've traveled in almost a year.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
It's a good place to go.
Yes. Had a lot happen this year, a lot of health issues. So this was just, it was like going on our second honeymoon.
Oh,
We
that's so nice.
so enjoyed it. It was wonderful.
And how was kind of restrictions and stuff with that, with going to Mexico? Was it pretty easy?
Same as what August said. Honestly, I was happily surprised, again, with the
Yeah.
distancing. Everything was super clean. On the plane, they did a really good job of,
Yeah.
they didn't have a lot of food service,
Right.
which was kind of, a
Yeah.
disappointment, but I get why.
Well, folks, stick with us. We'll be right back. A whole lot more coming up on Living Local. Welcome back to Living Local. Today is our Financial Friday first panel discussion, so we're very excited.
Yeah.
Now, this is March, so it's been Women's Month.
Yeah.
We've been featuring, I say we, but Carolina Trust and I have been featuring all sorts of really cool women this
Yeah,
whole
all month
month.
long.
Yeah, so it made me think, are there any women like in your life that have kind of stuck out or made a big impression to
Yeah.
you? Who do you think?
Well, I guess for me, which is so funny that you say this. So mine would probably be my dance teacher when I was a little kid. Of course, your mother and your grandmother and things like that. But I guess somebody that was outside of my realm who really kind of shaped me into who I am in a way that she really kind of taught me at a young age to be myself and to I guess let my big personality really shine all the time. So she was one of those people that for me, she was very vocal and outgoing, and I think sometimes in a society where sometimes women are a little more seen and not heard, made it very apparent to me at a young age that if I wanted to be heard, I could be, and I could be as loud as I wanted. So, yeah, she would definitely be someone that stood
And we
out.
know that
That's
she went with
important.
that, like we know August at this point. What about you, Kelly?
I don't have anybody. I mean, my mom was huge in
Sure.
that. My mom worked very hard in bringing us up and being a working mom as well.
Yeah.
And I saw some things in my mom that made me want to be like she was, and some things that made me think that I'm going to do things a little bit differently,
Sure.
so that I could. I mean, I want to be successful,
Right.
in anything that I did, and I didn't want to not do something because I didn't think I could.
Yeah.
Mom was the chance taker, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a little bit similar as far as kind of sticking up for yourself and going for what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Erica?
I love that. I love what you guys said. It's, it's so important because I think for so long it was like women were the quiet
Right,
ones.
yeah.
You just can't be true to yourself and have that voice. There's so many wonderful women, but one in particular, she's actually in the same industry in mortgage, and I met her about almost 10 years ago. Her name's Shayla Gifford, and she was just this huge, like she thought way outside of the box in our industry, and it was just, she caught
Right.
me off guard and made me think outside the box. And anyway, she's a terrific woman.
Does she know what she's done for you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for several people, yes.
Okay.
She's just an amazing person.
Sure. And I feel like it's funny you bring her up because I do feel like over time, there are women who maybe aren't in our lives for a long time, but you see them and they do something for you. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
absolutely.
I can remember teachers in school that, I think they pop up in my head a lot,
Yeah.
over time as far as, wow, I really liked when she had that discussion in class or how she handled that or
Yeah.
how she inspired us to do whatever,
Yeah.
And, it's interesting when you run into people like that.
Yeah.
I also, a lot of people know this or don't know this, but I dance a lot on the side.
cool.
And I remember there were certain people as I was learning that I would watch and look up to. And
Yeah.
I wasn't like out of my shell yet in the
Right.
dance world. I
Yeah.
didn't have my confidence yet with it. So I would watch them instead and be like,
Yeah.
I can do that. I could like break out more out of my shell because they had already done it before me. And so nobody was going to be looking at me because they were going to be looking at them. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, I know
So,
exactly what you
it made me
mean.
more comfortable. But it's just funny because people, I don't think they realize what they've done
The
for
impact.
others. Yeah.
Right.
That's-
Women especially, I feel like they don't necessarily realize until after the fact the influence that they have on other women in their lives. And, I feel like a lot of the times when somebody does kind of influence you that way, you kind of take whatever lesson they taught you and, you apply it to your own life, but we don't often, go to that person and be like, hey, by the way, what you did for me really shaped me into, this or that way. So I think that, like you said, it is super interesting how certain people kind of stick out and makes you wonder if they know how important or how impactful they were in your life.
And we should tell people more.
We
I was
should.
going to say, it's all about paying it forward. And
Yeah.
these friendships, it's building each other up.
Right.
And I'm a strong believer in telling people with compliments, you know what I mean? Because there's so much of the squeaky wheel of people who are complaining about things. And so, and even with this show and stuff, you kind of put it out there for the world.
Yeah.
Right.
And you don't ever know what the response is going to be,
Right,
So
yeah.
I'm always like, oh, I'm so happy when I get a nice email or a nice,
Right.
Nice feedback. And
Yeah.
so I feel like that's so important to kind of give to people when you think it,
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
So, and then talking about kind of the area and summer coming up, this year has been huge for homes,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So we will talk about that right when we come back after the break. Welcome back to Living Local. We were just getting into how booming the market's been this year for homes and mortgages. Why do you think that is, Erica?
I think the good side of COVID is people have realized they literally can work from anywhere.
Sure.
So many have had this big dream of, oh my goodness, I want to live at the beach one day. Now they can do it even sooner.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But is it good for both buyers and sellers right now, or is one kind of doing better than the other?
The sellers are definitely, in a great spot right now. I believe there's only 1,400 listings right now, and that's very small.
What's normal?
I honestly don't know. I think it's over 3,000, but I could be wrong about that.
Wow.
Yeah, and I feel like I really caught, I guess, right as the beginning of that. I bought my house this year with the first-time home buyer mortgage from Carolina Trust, and kind of, in July. So I was really just kind of starting as the, mortgage uproar was kind of beginning. And so at that time, I had, even searching then, I had, a good variety of options to choose from. But it would be, I'd like one, and then I'd be like, well, let me at least see what the one tomorrow looks like. And by the time I got to tomorrow, the one that I had originally liked was gone. So, it really, the market was booming, but I'm glad that I was able to kind of get in when I did. And with the first time home buyer mortgage, I had the 5/1 mortgage, so it's adjustable, but I was able to kind of get the original first 5 years fixed on the low rates that we had this year, which was a great benefit being a first-time home buyer.
Sure. I feel like it's a common myth that it has to be your very first house to use the first time, right? Aren't there some stipulations where you can use it?
I think that's one of the biggest myths, that you have to have this huge down payment, and you don't. I mean, thankfully, y'all have a 100% program.
Yeah.
We have 100%, just either it's called USDA where you're in a rural area, or with veterans. Otherwise, it's 3% down.
Okay.
And yes, there are other 3% down options that you don't have to be a first-time buyer. So you don't need an egregious amount of savings to purchase. And right now, it's an awesome opportunity to build some wealth.
Sure.
I mean, that happens all the time, especially for people that are, maybe coming down from another area that are retiring here. You may have owned a home in another state for, 25 years, and then, in your retirement decided, oh, I don't think I want to buy. We'll come down here and we'll rent. And you've rented here in the area for a little bit of time, and then decide, maybe we do want to buy, and they would be eligible for a first-time home if, that time span had been 3 years, which is a great option for people. And as you mentioned earlier, Kelly is our HELOC specialist at Carolina Trust, and I know spring, is a huge time for people that are looking to get HELOCs right now.
Yes. Springtime is typically the time when people are looking to do home renovations or outside projects that they've been thinking about.
Yeah.
People working from home, and they're spending a lot more time at home, so they're thinking about all these projects that they've wanted to do for a long time and just haven't really done them.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, especially, with the time change. They've got more time outside, so spending evenings after work out there and, sitting around looking at all the things you wish you could do to your house would definitely get you started. That's
That's me
absolutely.
right now. And you know, Erica, with kind of your expertise, we were kind of chatting before we started rolling about how, you know, you need kind of like a pre-approval nowadays, right? That's a big thing.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. So it is definitely a seller's market. Inventory is low. So when people are interested in buying, I cannot stress enough, get the hard work out of the way. And what I mean by that is don't just do what's called a pre-qual. A pre-approval is you take the application and we get the documentation to support it.
Oh, so you don't know the difference.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So we basically what we're doing there is just verifying that that information is correct and identifying any potential issue. So it's all addressed, and then that's the next best thing next to cash.
Sure.
You're putting yourself in a better position.
Well, we want to thank Kelly and Erica for joining us today for this panel discussion. Thank you both for your insight and your expertise. Thanks so much for watching Living Local today. We'll see you next time.